Alright, I'm going live. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. So if you guys are joining us for the first time or have never joined us ever before, my name's Ricky. We have a group. We have over 70,000 members within our networking platform. And pretty much what that means is that we have over 70,000 people that invest in different markets, and we simply offer a free platform for you to share best practices, share mistakes, in an effort to promote overall group growth. And one of the main markets that we choose to invest in is the stock market, and that is exactly why it is that we are coming here today. So usually on a weekly basis at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time, so I'm here in California. But we go live and we talk about the top stocks that I see value in, and then I answer a couple questions for the people that tune in live if you guys post it in the right ticker format. So I'm going to see how everyone is doing. So I'm going to say what's up to everyone. What's going on, Mia? What's going on? You guys from Florida? I like it. I like it. So just me, Adam, rocking it. What's going on, Jason? What's going on, MTLC Killer? Okay. What's going on, Austin? George, Gabe, Mike, Angel. For all those that are tuning in live, let me know. Feel free to give the video a thumbs up, letting me know that you guys are live. What's going on, Richard? What's going on, Trevor? What's going on, Jason? What's going on, Steve, Jose, NYC, Nelly? What's going on, guys? Oh my goodness, there we go. All right, guys, let's go ahead and see that like button. Okay, all right, I'm so sorry. What's going on, guys? So I hope you guys are all having an amazing weekend. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Last week when it came down to trading, it was a pretty productive week for myself as well as for a lot of other traders. It wasn't the best week. Was a little bit under $2,000 profit. If you guys watched my recap, it was a little bit over $1,800. And this week it's to break a little bit over $2,000 to $2,500. We have really good plays that are coming along, and that's exactly what it is that I'm going to talk about today. We have 3 recommendations when it comes down to investing in the stock market. One of the first ones that I could recommend is making sure that you never invest based on other people's opinion. You want to make sure that you always understand what you're investing in and always have a form of risk management. I'm going to keep it very simple, and out of all the stocks that are in my watch list, just like you guys, it could get very overwhelming. And I like to keep things very simple and very narrow focus, right? So very micro focus. So we want to make sure that we stick to like what it is that we see value in. So easiest way that I can put it is like when you go to the grocery store and you are trying to decide maybe what jelly you want. If there's 100 options for jelly, it's going to become very difficult for you, or a less efficient way for you to know which jelly that you want to buy. But when it comes down to you only having about maybe 2 to 3 options of the top jellies that you want to buy, then it becomes much easier for you to actually make the decision on, hey, I'm going to buy this jelly because it's the best price and it tastes really good with my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't know. But I guess that was a very bad example to give. But overall, it's the same thing when it comes down to investing in the stock market. You want to make sure that there's 3 things that I ask for the people that are part of my mentorship program or my private group. So if you're part of Technical Solutions, we offer a private group, which is you go through my course. So it's my Learn, Find, Profit lesson library. The link is down below. I showcase in a complete A to Z video lesson library what it is that has led to my success, and I assist you in building your own scanner so you could find top quality picks. I also assist you in making sure that you build your foundation and your eye for value so you can do this long term and on a consistent basis. Yeah, so Milko Nunez was like jelly, raspberry preservative. Okay, but altogether, one of the things that I ask for on a weekly basis for all the people that are part of my private group is I ask you every single week, usually on Sunday or on Monday, I ask you to break down the series of stocks that are on your watch list and to pick the top 1 or 2 stocks that you see value in. The reason why is I want you to plan out your trade. So your entry point, exit point, stop loss, and why it is that you see value. Based from the time when we started doing that, the success rate not only with our private group, but our overall success rate when it came down to Technical Solutions has been so much greater because people are now becoming so much more structured with their trading. And again, I'm going to give you guys the same example that I gave all week last week. We had a trader within our private group that was part of the mentorship program, did not take a position for 3 weeks. Again, the mentorship program is only 4 weeks. And he did not take a position for the first 3 weeks because nothing met his criteria. Again, focusing on quality. The last week, he took a position on UGAs, and within the last week, he was able to capitalize on 40% growth and then altogether 45% growth. So he ended up being one of the top percentage gainers for the overall month within our private group. and he only took one position. So just think about that. Let's say you have $10,000 in your account, being able to grow at $4,500 within 1 week. And again, when that quality is there, that's what I'm trying to make sure that you guys focus on. All this manipulation, all this hype that everyone talks about, it's great to be able to capitalize on a day-to-day basis, but it's also amazing for those that are busy, or for those that, have a little bit of a busier schedule, maybe with work or by being a student, that you guys can't be day trading every single day. So therefore, how cool would it be to be able to understand how to invest in the stock market, do it on a consistent basis, and only have to take maybe 1 or 2 positions or 4 positions all month, right? And then it still gets you to your weekly goal of 5% or 20% on a monthly basis. And that's exactly what it is that we are trying to do, and making sure that we implement every single member within our group with that proper foundation. So who's with you? So Henry's actually with me right now. So he's right here on the left-hand side. So if you guys know Henry, he is actually someone that I shouted out on my Instagram. He has a, 2016 Corvette Z06, and then he purchased his first house by age 21, right, here in California. So he's one of the guys that I shouted out within my Instagram, and we're going to go ahead and drop off a car. I just came back from Mammoth, so that was a fun little trip. But let's get right to it. What's going on, Fidel? How you doing, man? Let's get right to it. I'm going to start breaking down the top 3 stocks that I see value in this week. I hope that you guys see value in it. And if you guys don't, please don't trade it. Again, these are not suggestions. These are just what I see value in and what I think is going to get me to my weekly percentage growth goal. So video is chopping up. I apologize. Yeah, the Wi-Fi here at my parents' house sucks even more than the one at my house. So yeah, I'm visiting here in California. I'll be back in Arizona by tomorrow. I'm super pumped to be back in my little trading desk. I know, it's so ridiculous, but I get so excited, just to be in my routine. So I trade in the morning. I go through my series of mentorship calls for about 3 hours. I have lunch, so usually Cane's, and then I go to the gym, and then I come back. Believe it or not, I do go to the gym, and then I come back and I do more due diligence on either my trading or with the series of partnerships or businesses that I have, and then we upload another live video, and then I do what it is that I love every single day, and I just love it. So let's get right to it. So one of the top ones that I think is going to perform very well this week is JDST. So JDST on the 180-day analysis, this is pretty much the pattern that I want you guys to focus on. This is what I see. So you guys can focus on whatever it is that you see value in. That's great. One of the things that I see right here is, I'm actually going to move this over. So one of the things that I see value in is that, or the patterns that I see, again, more on a technical standpoint, is the support that it has here right around $50. Do you guys see that consolidation that happened here for about a week at $50? And then it had this margin of growth that it was able to capitalize on. So from $50 all the way to highs of about 75, obviously it went higher, but the resistance was around 75. So that growth from 50 to 75 was 50% growth. That's huge. Now, it's doing that same pattern again, right? It's consolidating here at around $50. It's a little bit below $50. One of the things that I noticed is that it hits lows of about $48 and then hits highs of $50. So it offers a nice $2 margin. So it's about, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit less than 5%. So it's not bad. But realistically, one of the things that when it comes down to breaking it down, like I asked you guys to break it down, is I've identified this margin of potential profit from $50 to $75. Now, what is the confirmation that I'm waiting for before I take on a full-on swing position? It's okay to day trade it, I think, in my opinion, or for a 1 to 2 day swing trade from $48 to $50. That makes sense to me. But if I'm going in for a long-term swing trade and I'm going to go in with $10,000 or more, that's a little bit more of my heavier positions. We all trade with different things, so it's up to you on what it is that you trade with. I would like JDST to break above $52, because at that time this EMA line is going to be right around here, $50 to $52, and the candlesticks will be well above, again, riding this EMA line just like it's done it before. But I want to make sure, as you guys can see right now, the EMA line is kind of horizontal. It's not showing signs of a downward pattern. It's not showing signs of an uptrend or anything like that. It's parallel. It's horizontal. So we want to make sure that the EMA line starts pointing up, that it breaks above $52. That would be my confirmation that JDST is now reversing, and its inverse, which is JNUG, is going to start trending back down. So that's when I would invest a little bit more heavily into JDST because of the potential for profit that it has to offer. Let me just put it into perspective for those that are trading with similar accounts as mine. I don't realistically, I'm pretty conservative. Do I think I'm going to hold it until it hits $75? No, I really don't. I think I'm going to hold it till it probably hits $60. And with that being said, I expect it to be about a week to maybe a week and a half. And with a $10,000 position, it would be about a $1,500 return. Again, a $1,500 return within 1 week within just one single position. That's not that bad. And obviously, if it excels or there's some form of catalyst that drives the price that much quicker and pushes right through, $60, then that offers that much more margin for profit overall. In perspective of what it does have to offer to 75, 44% growth with a $10,000 position around almost $4,500. That's definitely not bad, right? And just again, quality versus quantity. How many positions do you have to take to usually experience 50% growth on a consistent basis? Or would you just rather take one position that can get you to your weekly target? So yeah, let me go ahead, and that was it for that one. Another one, DSLV. This is another inverse. I know you guys are probably tired of all these inverse ETFs. I think they're so simple to trade, and that's just my opinion. If you don't find them simple to trade, so I'm going to give a shout out to Ferris. He's like, dude, I don't know how you do it. I think it's very simple. Ferris does really good with momentum trading and usually lower cap stocks. And he has a really good eye for also technical breakouts and stuff like that. I think I have a really good eye for just little easy to understand technical patterns that I don't think, in my opinion, require an enormous amount of really work, right? You just have to understand the patterns, manage your risk, and being able to do it on a consistent basis. So with that being said, that's really what I've been doing for quite a while, and I'm gonna break it down for you on how I look at this. Do you see this margin that I drew the support line here right around $22, the resistance right here right around $30? Do you guys see that? So support here usually bounces here. It peaks out usually here at around $30. There's going to be another support / resistance depending on where the candles are at around $26. Do you see that? Right here, right here, right here, right here. It acted as a support here. It acted as a resistance here. Again, old support levels become new resistance levels. So that makes sense. Now when it comes down to when is it going to start reversing, do we have a confirmation that DSLV is going to start trending up? No. One of the things that I always wait for on the 180-day chart, time after time, I can't stress this enough, wait for the break above the 180-day EMA. That's this blue line right here. So I'm going to set my alert. I already have my alert set here. So not at $23, but at $23.20. Once DSLV goes above $23.20, I can revisit the stock, redo my technical analysis, and if I see the candles trending above the EMA line, then I have the confirmation that it's now reversing back with its uptrend pattern. Until then, it is not a stock that I'm going to invest in because it's not an uptrending stock right now. Right now, it's, again, consolidating, trying to hold above $22, but who knows, what can happen, and it can continue to trend down. Now, if we do get that confirmation from about $23.20 to about $30, it offers about a 30% return on your investment. So if I go in with $10,000, again, a pretty picture, a potential return of nearly $3,000 for my overall investment. So when it comes down to the time frame that requires, it's anywhere from about 1 week to 2 weeks. It's usually what it needs for it to be able to complete, that full, support to resistance price point, from support to resistance. So let me go ahead and see what you can say. Oh, okay, that's a good question. So I get asked that all the time. So what is your setting on the EMA? I change mine all the time because I'm more of a swing trader. Like many of you guys, I work all the time, and even though majority of my work has to do with investing in the stock market, I'm usually on calls with our students, and I don't actually have the time to always day trade. So with that being said, on a weekly basis, that's something that's included in my private group, I put out my weekly watch list, and that usually provides you a nice little pool of stocks that I see value in, that are actively trending up, that offer decent potential. But one of the things that I always recommend is if you don't put out your own top pick for the week, then you should not be trading anything, because if you're not doing your own due diligence, then realistically, again, we're not here to spoon feed you. If you're someone that is willing to do the effort on breaking down stocks and making sure that you're managing your risk and you're focusing on good quality picks, then we'd love to have you as a part of a group. If you want to be spoon fed, then yeah, our group is not ideal for you. Just to give you an understanding of what my settings are is, let me just show you. You can click Edit Studies. The length of my moving average exponential is 15. So pretty simple. So that just means that I think the default is like 9 or 12. Mine's a little bit longer. The reason why is because I wanted to not move as aggressively with the candles because I want to make sure that we have a real confirmation. So usually if my EMA line is, on the 9 EMA, it'll be closer to the candles and it reacts or moves much quicker. With that being said, I want to make sure that I have a full-on confirmation and that the EMA line just travels a lot smoother, and that's why I have it in that with that setting option. So thank you again for asking that question, Charles. Orlando is asking DSLV or USLV. So the one that we broke down is DSLV because this one's starting to show signs of a reversal. So that's USLV. Now that's great that you pulled up or talked about USLV. USLV was one of my top. If you're part of the mentorship group or if you follow my weekly Sunday stock talks, you guys would have seen that I called this one out because of one of our members within our mentorship group. He scanned for it and found it. This thing, when it broke above $10, we got the confirmation of a reversal, and we're able to call it out from $10 all the way up to $12, being able to capitalize on 20% return, and it played out perfectly. Again, we called out the resistance, we called out the bounce at the support, and now it's starting to consolidate. Do we have the confirmation that it's pulling back down? No, just like on DSLV, we don't have the confirmation that it's pushing back up. But these are kind of like inverse ETFs that go hand in hand with one another. So again, really good question. Let's go ahead and see. There's another one that I was calling out for this week. Let's just make sure that we go down the list, making sure that we call it out accordingly. We got XNet. XNet was way overpumped. Let's see, TELL. That one's actually trending up. So this was one of our top callouts maybe a week ago, and it was at the support at $10. We had a couple of people that were in this, and it pushed right back up to $11. I think it pushed up way too quickly. I think that this thing is going to pull back a little bit quicker, or pull back closer to the EMA line. So just expect that, but it is an actively uptrending stock. So for those that are able to capitalize on that, great. BITA, I don't know if you guys remember, we've been calling this one out since it's been at $30, and it's been uptrending ever since. It's holding very well above the EMA line. It's not a huge margin that it's been able to cover. It's from top to bottom been able to cover about 20%, and realistically, it's pushed away pretty high from the EMA line. I would wait for a little bit more of a sell-off, being closer to the EMA, but offers huge potential there as well. HIMX, this is one that we called out when it was at $10. I actually swing traded this one for one day and sold at 10.56 if I'm not mistaken. It hit highs of $11 that same day. Keep a close eye on this one for a break above $11. And I was going to call out a third stock, but now thinking about it on the top of my head, it's not one that I see huge potential in, and it was this one. So it was QRVO. The reason it's barely starting to show signs of a reversal. So if you see the margin of profit from about $68 to highs of $80, this is one that I traded last week. It didn't really perform exactly the way that I wanted it to, and it's still consolidating a lot from around $68 to highs of $70. So if you're able to catch the lows of 68, then great, it offers 3%. But do you see this EMA line? This is kind of like iffy. It's starting to almost point down. And that's not the best sign, but also it's done that before when it points down and then it picks right back up. So that's why I set my alert here at $70. I would like for this thing to break $70, and as it's done that before, it can complete a little bit more margin of profit, or it starts trending up a little bit more aggressively. And when it comes down to opportunity cost, JDST being able to offer nearly 50% growth, and then we have DSLV being able to offer almost 30% growth. We have 80% potential for profit when something like this is a 3% margin of profit as of now, with no confirmation of an actively uptrending stock. So I apologize. I was going to call out a total of 3 stocks, but now I'm only going to touch base on those top 2. I think it's better just to lead by example and just to showcase, hey, it's not about how many stocks you're calling out. It's making sure that, whatever stock you do call out or you do plan on trading for yourself, that it's the top stock that you see value in, and ensuring that, it's overall just your top pick, that you actually see value in that one. You know where you're going to buy, you know where you're going to sell, and you're truly confident about the potential for profit that it has to offer compared to the potential for loss. There's always this form of risk involved, but that's the beautiful thing about trading. It's if you do it correctly, then it will outweigh your losses. So even if I take 2 losses in a row, because I'm managing my risk at less than $100 per trade, I just need one of my good call outs like JDST or DSLV to perform the way that I expect them to. And with that being said, I can take a $100 loss 5 times in a row, and it might suck, right? Because it sucks taking losses. But once I have a stock that I see value that plays out the way that it's supposed to, because I manage my risk so properly, the $2,500 return, or however much of JDST that I want to capitalize on, or DSLV, the 30% growth or up to 50% growth for JDST, anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 outweighs the potential for loss. And that's the great thing about trading. If you're consistent and if you can make sure that you manage your risk every single time that you choose to take a position, then that's huge, and that plays a huge role in long-term growth. Too many people are focusing, I think, on the quick get rich quick, and that's definitely not something that we support within our group, and we always filter out manipulation or any form of spam. And I just want you guys to know that we're truly here to work towards our weekly goal. A lot of people have a weekly goal of about 5% on a weekly basis, which I think is great, especially if you're starting out. All right, let's see what you guys are. D. Howard is saying, dang boy, help your mama take down her Christmas tree. I know, that's one of the first things that I noticed. I come home, so I don't live here, right? I have a house in Arizona, but I noticed that the Christmas tree is still up. I think they're starting to take it down because there's like little boxes around it, but I think that's hilarious. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to start looking at the live chat, and if you guys want to call out in the stock call out format, so you have to put your entry point, exit, stop loss, and why it is that you see potential. I'll go ahead and look at your ticker starting now at 6:02. Okay, so we got 1997 DWP calling out MRAM, support at $9.50, resistance at $12. Okay, let's see. Did I put it out? Okay. So looking at this on the 180-day chart, it doesn't show a lot of, it's showing signs of a potential reversal, but it's done this before. Do you see when it has a sell-off and it tries to reverse back, but doesn't actually hold and then it continues that sell-off? That's not usually a stock long-term that I mean, that's not a stock altogether that I like to really invest in because of the consistent downward pattern that it shows. Now looking at the 1-year chart, don't really like that either. Okay, so looking at the 3-year chart, I can see that it's come from, almost a $6 support. So I could see why it could start reversing here. It's just, and the MACD indicator is starting to indicate somewhat of a buy. The RSI is indicating, a sign for recovery. So it looks like on Friday it had huge growth, and the volume was a little bit more present than usual. So that's a pretty good sign. So I don't know anything about this company. If it received some form of news or catalyst that drove the price up. If I'm not mistaken, on your breakdown, I think you said that this was a technical reason, or when it comes down to the reason that you're investing in this one, it's more of a technical breakout. One of the things that I would look out for is this support that it had here before it had this huge drop, which acts as a new resistance here. So if it breaks above $10, then yeah, I can see signs for a potential recovery. But if it doesn't, I think that it's too close to that resistance already. When it comes down to opportunity cost, just think about it: $9.58 to $10 offers about almost 4% potential for profit. But the potential for loss is much greater than that. So you have to ask yourself, hey, why don't I just maybe be a little bit more patient, wait for this thing to break above $10, and when it does, then and $10 becomes the new support, as long as it confirms that, then from $10 to, let's say, $12 based on this past resistance, offers 21% potential. That's much more potential for profit compared to managing your risk anything below $10. So like, let's say you buy at $10.20, manage your risk at 2%, you cut losses at $9.99. You manage your risk at 2% when your potential for profit is over 20%, if that makes sense. So I hope that does. All right, let's see. All right, we got Jordan. Okay, let's break down that one. Alrighty, so I actually kind of like this one. And for all those that are tuning in right now, you guys are probably going to want to wait until the end of the video. I'm going to announce something like super quick. I think you guys are going to want to tune in. It's at least going to be worth it for those that are really trying to take trading to the next level. So yeah. All right, so the reason that I like this is because of the support here that it had at $9, starting to show signs of a reversal, resistance here at about $11. So that's a decent margin. So now going from $9.50 to $11, as long as it continues this uptrend pattern, it offers 15% potential for profit. How do you know when it's still showing signs of an uptrend pattern? You look at the 180-day analysis, you look at the EMA line and the direction that it's pointing. If the direction that the EMA line is pointing is still up, then it's showing signs of an uptrend pattern even when it pulls back. So a pullback is inevitable. And if anything, I would wait for a pullback to try to get in closer to around like, 920 or 925, whatever it is, closer to the EMA line so you can get and be able to sell at like $10 or wherever it is that you want to sell. But for a better, so that's always what I look for. When it comes down to an actively uptrending stock that's trending up, as it trends up, it doesn't just shoot straight up like a momentum stock. It slowly pushes away from the EMA line, and then has a sell-off, and then comes close. Let me, the heck am I doing showing? No, that was a weird example that I was showing you with my hands. I apologize for that. Easiest way that I can put it is, this is BITA. We've been calling this one out for the past 2-3 weeks, and it's been doing extremely well. This is the EMA line, and as you guys can see, looking very close to the EMA line, when is a good time to buy and when is a good time to sell? When it pushes away from that, that's not necessarily when you want to buy, that's when you want to sell. It comes back, it consolidates on the EMA line, that's when I want to buy, then again, sell on the sell-off. Close, buy here, sell here. Buy here, sell here. People think that when it's pushing up like this, oh man, it grew 4% today, let me get in. And then the next day it sells off and then they have to cut their losses or whatever the case may be. Again, when the stock is actively trending up, in my opinion, it is, I have seen the most success when it comes down to seeing the EMA line, seeing that it's still pointing up, that the margin of profit that it has to offer is still worth it, and I wait for a sell-off so I can get in at the low points and sell at the high points. I did that with HIMX last week. It didn't offer huge margins, but I think I was able to break over $100 on a one-day swing trade, and that's not bad. I took a pretty small position. My positions last week, I think that's what led to me having a little bit of a slower week. My positions last week were anywhere from about 2,500 to 3,500 if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully this week can be a little bit just better. But again, I'm not complaining. $1,800 for 1 week's work is not bad, especially because they were all one-day swing trades. So it took me like a matter of minutes per day to actually, again, when it comes down to trading, the buying and selling is the easiest part. It's doing your due diligence, finding out these stocks that have potential. That's the hardest part. So make sure that you focus more on that than just buying and selling. That anyone can do that. Well, that knows how to use a computer or a phone. Man, okay, DPW. I don't like that one, man. I'll do it anyways, but I don't like that one. The reason that I don't like this one is that everyone continues to try to hype this one up. Had its peak at nearly $6, it's been having a sell-off, and it's still holding below the EMA line on the 180-day chart. Until it breaks above the EMA line, it's irrelevant to me. Until it starts riding on the EMA line like this, then great. Just like we did with XNet. XNet was having a sell-off, and once it was having a sell-off right at this resistance, we waited for the consolidation to break above the EMA on the 180-day, and you guys saw my call out. You guys saw my call out before the breakout, and I think it was like last week for our Sunday Stock Talk, and look how much it's covered since then. I think I called it out at around $14 to $15, and it's been able to cover almost 50% growth. I called out UGAS, covered 50% growth. What else was one of the huge ones that, I don't know, HIMX, that one covered like 15% or 10 to 15% growth. Again, calling out is the easiest part. It's taking action, managing risk, and knowing how to identify these patterns. It's the most difficult part. So yeah, so, and I don't want to subjugate anyone, right? So if you see value in DPW or you see value in any of these other stocks, then great. So just like this, Thomas Ventura talking about TOPS. In my honest opinion, TOPS is probably one of the worst stocks that you can invest in. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. It's like DCIX and every other low cap stock that goes through like 30 reverse stock splits within the next year. And it's all to manipulate and overhype the price. Anytime that TOPS does well, it's because there's some form of negative manipulative catalyst that drives the price up, because this stock are one of the worst stocks. I heard HMNY is again one of these glorified low cap stocks that are doing the same things, and it would not surprise me for HMNY to be again close to that $1 price point, and then start going through all these reverse stock splits, and then all these market companies start driving people to overhype HMNY. Again, it comes down to long-term growth and seeing what you see value in. And if you don't see value in long term, or you're just trying to wait for some form of hype or manipulation, then so be it. I understand that. But then you have to move into momentum trading and being able to act quick, making sure that you're able to capitalize on something before everyone else does. Okay, so we'll end it here. So the last one, sorry, Henry, for taking so long. It's fun, huh? Okay, so this is I see this thing to be peaking out actually at $55, starting to show signs of a downward pattern. This EMA line is starting to show signs of a peak. So I like this stock, and the reason I do is because of this ascending uptrend pattern. It's showing long-term growth, which is something really good in my opinion. Now, one of the things that I don't necessarily like about it is that it looks like it's at the current price point that it's at right now. It's at more of a resistance. So I would wait a little bit more for a sell-off. And with that being said, it looks like it had a previous support or resistance at right around anywhere from $50 to lows of like $47.50. So I would wait for that sell-off. And again, just wait for the break above the EMA, kind of like it did here, and then wait for that confirmation. And from that confirmation, from when it really started to trend up, that was right around $43 almost, I was able to cover 30% growth. So again, being patient pays out very well. And let me actually talk about these real quick. This is Elway, called it out when it was at $8, resistance at 10, starting to show signs of a potential reversal, consolidating right above the $8 support. Another one, oh, crowd. This is one that I wanted to talk about very quickly. Look at DRN. Support here at $21, resistance here at 24. We called it out when it was at like $22 for the reversal. It never actually broke above 23. That was a little bit of a letdown. Look into this one, and the reason why is because of the previous support that it's at right now. So if you could still manage your risk with this support line, so again, let's just put it into perspective with a $1,000 account. You take a position at the low point of 21.10. You manage your risk. Anything below 29.9, you'll cut losses. That's 0.05% with a $1,000 account that has to be less than like $5 at risk. And what is the potential for profit that it has to offer if it covers its overall potential to $24? That is 13.79% potential for profit. With a $10,000 account, that's about $1,379 or $137 if you're trading with $1,000. So realistically, again, managing your risk, making sure that potential for profit is much greater than potential for loss, that you have an entry, exit, and stop loss plan, and that it makes sense to you, making sure that the patterns are something that you understand. It's pretty easy to understand within these past 180 days that $21 is a low point, $24 is a high point. Buy low, sell high, wait for the confirmation, and cover profits or follow with a stop loss as you're covering. If you guys, and this is pretty much what I was going to end it with. Wait, did the live stream end? Let's see. Low output. Let's see. Are we still good? If we're still good on the live stream, can you guys let me know on the live chat? So are we good? I know it's probably slow, but are we good? Okay. Let me know. Let me know. Nope. So it's still delayed? All right. Okay. So the last thing that I wanted to end this with is that, can you let them know that I'm filming? All right, so the last thing that I wanted to end this with is that for all those that are looking into, making 2018 the best year, right? This isn't 100% guaranteed, but for all those that want to work with me on a daily basis, we offer our daily Q&A chats, right, at Market Open. If you want me to work with you to build your foundation, and if you're someone that's really looking to, invest in the stock market and do this on a consistent basis with my weekly watch list, with me showing you from complete A to Z how it is that I got to the point where it is that I am today. For my lesson library, for the Learn Plan Profit lesson library, the link is down below. It says course. So I offer 2 courses, one's for buying and reselling cars. The month of November, I broke $23,000 of profit. And then I offer my course for trading, which is obviously the main kind of core of our group. So for those that are interested, for the next 24 hours, so starting from 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm going to do it there because I'm going to be back in Arizona. I'm going to offer $50 for those that are interested, and the coupon code is GET50 off. So for those that are interested, so it's GET50 off. Did I do it? All right, so get 50 off. That will save you $50 off the Learn, Plan, Profit lesson library, and that's just for those that tuned in live. So thank you guys again so much for your time. I hope that for those that are interested, you guys can take action, and I would love to work with you guys on this one-on-one basis. And for those that don't, again, I do upload daily videos, and I would love to be a part of your success in that perspective. But you know, the complete A to Z lesson library just showcases in a structured format everything that you need to know on how to save money, how to manage risk, how to minimize loss, and also how to promote long-term and consistent growth. And that's something that I assist you with. So thank you guys again so much for your time. I can't thank you guys enough. For all those that are part of my private mentorship group or the Learn, Plan, Profit lesson library, my weekly watch list for this upcoming week will be posted tomorrow at around 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will kind of want to see how the market opens and all that good stuff. So Moses, please check your email. All right, I'll go ahead and check my email. Thank you again for that. So don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. I'm sorry, I'm like really out of it. So Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. What's going on, Angel? I don't have my Google Home with me and stuff, but let's definitely make sure that we end 2018 on a green note. I'm super excited for this year and everything that we have to offer. And we have to go drop off the car. So I rented a car through Turo for my trip to Mammoth. So time to drop it off. So thank you guys again so much for your time. Take it easy. Continue working hard. Continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives in your success. If you guys have not subscribed already, we'd love to have you as a part of the group. And if you guys want to be a part of the Learn, Plan, Profit lesson library, again, it's GET50 off. GET50 OFF. And make sure that you use all caps if I'm not mistaken. That will save you $50. So looking forward to being a part of your success. And let's make this week a green